As individual musicians, we don't matter, like, at all. Let's discuss. Okay, so aside from crippling self-doubt, imposter syndrome, and all those things that can make you feel really pointless as a musician or as a creative person, it is kind of true. As individuals, we don't matter, and that's the massively uplifting thing we're exploring this week on Liam Taylor Guitar, the channel for musicians who want to either sustain a professional career in music or people who just like making dumb noises with guitar, or both, I guess. So super rarely do we listen to individual instruments when we're listening to a piece of music or when we're playing in a group. That's kind of the whole point of an ensemble. No one instrument or one person should stand out. It's all about the collective, like communism or the Borg.
Resistance is futile.
There are exceptions, sure, like a drum fill as the intro to a song, or a guitar solo, or a saxophone solo. You could even make the case that lead vocals are the main point of a pop or a rock song, but actually, really, the thing that matters the most is that combination of instruments. The point of this video, the thing that I kind of want you to take away and ponder on for yourselves, is the importance of context and the importance of ensemble. For example, what does a bass line mean by itself? Well, nothing. In rock music, it's probably a lot of root notes, so who cares? What about a drum loop on its own? Nothing, it's just a bunch of noise, right? What does a guitar solo mean by itself? If the chords underneath are lame, then the solo will be lame. And if there's nothing happening underneath a guitar solo, then there's a 90% chance that it'll be tedious and unwelcome. Cool, so I've belittled my trade and the hobby of thousands of people. What practical tips can we actually take away from this idea? In terms of ensemble, the idea that you're only as strong as your weakest link really applies. Even if you're in a rock band or a punk band and the bassist is doing something really simple, they still need to play with a whole load of energy and keep that rhythm and that timing really solid. That matters more maybe than a guitar player being in time, certainly more than the singer being in time. So if you had a guitar solo and a weak rhythm section, when you combine those two, what you have is a bad guitar solo. If your band is band, I'm gonna get this, you stay there. If your band is bad, then you are bad. If your band is bad, you are bad. Nailed it. As members of a band, you're all responsible for making sure that each of you can play your parts and you can support each other in doing so. Remember that yes, you are only as strong as your weakest link, but there are a million things you can do to support that weakest link. It's also really important that you know what each other is playing in terms of harmony. So if a singer wants to do something weird, you need to make sure that the chords will accommodate that. Similarly, if you want to have a weirdly modular guitar solo, then you need to make sure that the chords underneath or the bass line underneath has a harmony that will allow for you to do that. On the flip side, you can get away with a really simple, a really minimal guitar solo if the chords underneath are well put together or really interesting. So in summary, remember that as an instrumentalist or a songwriter, whatever position you fill in a creative industry, you individually do not matter. Hearing that is actually a relief to me. I know that many of you will probably be annoyed by that kind of sentiment, but personally it's a big relief to know that. You are a cog in a machine, so don't be writing epic guitar parts and then half-assing the bass guitar because the song's going to be weak. Be humble and know your place and just be a good person. Sort of lost my flow there, didn't I? See you next week. Subscribe if you haven't already. Toodaloo.